Hello, good morning, students. So, in the last previous class, we have discussed how the density is going to be vary with the temperature. As the temperature increases, the density. As the temperature increases, density decreases. Okay, that is what we have discussed in the last previous video. And also we have discussed the what is called as that is thermal stress. Thermal stress is also discussed. Okay. Now in the today's class we are discussing the ideal gas equation. Ideal gas equation. Okay. So here at low pressure and high temperature, all real gases behaves as an ideal gas, and this ideal gas which obeys a law which is given by PV is equal to mu RT. Okay, PV is equal to mu RT, which is called as ideal gas equation. Here, where P is the pressure, V is the volume, mu is the number of moles, R is the universal gas constant, and T is the temperature. Okay, so this is called as here. This is a law which is obeyed by all the ideal gases. So that is called as ideal gas equation. So you should remember this ideal gas equation. Where P is the pressure, P is the volume, M is the number of moles, R is the universal gas constant, and T is the temperature. Okay. So now next we will move on towards so this is what the little bit equation, this ideal gas equation, which you have to remember. Okay. So now next we move on towards the anomalous expansion, anomalous behavior of water, Okay. Now here, anomalous means unusual behavior of water here. So I think you might have confused that how this aquatic lives, that is fishes or some other aquatic animals, how they are survive during the winter season, or you can say in some icelands where the surface of the water is going to be becomes freeze, and below the surface of water how these aquatic animals are going to be survive. Okay, so that is how the unusual behavior of water here. Okay, now here when we heat the water from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, when we heat the water from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, here it does not get expanded. But it contracts here. Okay, So when we are heating this from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, here it is not expanding, but here it is contracting here. So here below this 4 degrees Celsius, the volume increases and density decreases. Okay, density get decreases. So that is what happens during the winter season here. So below the 4 degrees Celsius, the volume it increases and density get decreases. So the water whose density is decreased, that water will get rise up and it will become a freeze. And if you go in the depth, there the density the water density which increases, it will get sinks down, and due to which so the surface of the water will get freeze. And how this is how the aquatic animals they survive at the depth here. So one side I am explaining here how the aquatic lives are going to be survived in the water during the winter season. Say for example, this is a lake, right? Now the temperature at the surface is below 4 degrees Celsius. It is below 4 degrees Celsius. As I told you that below 4 degrees Celsius, here volume increased, okay, and the density is decreased. So the water whose density is decreased, it will get sink down, okay, and the water which is having high density, okay, sorry, the water whose density is decreased, it will get rise up, and due to which it will forms a layer and it will get freeze here. And whose density is less, it will get sink down here. So in this way, the above surface of the water get freezed up, and the below water, whatever that is there, it is having a high density here. And this is how the aquatic animals are going to be survived in a water. So that is what the anomalous behavior of water here. This is how the unusual behavior of water it behaves. Okay. So when we heating it from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, it does not get expanded. But instead of expanding, it will get contracted here. So that is contraction. Because of this contraction, it is forming it is becoming freeze. Okay. So this is what the unusual behavior of water is. Okay. Now next we are going to discussing about the specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity. Okay. When we heat any body, its temperature is raised. When we heat any body, okay, when we are heating the body, its temperature will get raised. Okay. So similarly, when the body it lost its heat, okay, so when it cools down, simultaneously the temperature is being decreased. So this is natural. Okay. Say for example, if you are having any metallic rod, when it is heated, its temperature rises, and when it cools, its temperature decreases here. So that is how it says when we are heating any body, so then it is directly proportional to its, okay, when you are heating any body, so it is directly proportional to its mass, and it is directly proportional to its temperature also. There is delta T. It is change in temperature. Okay. So that means here the heat gained or lost. The heat gained by the body or the heat lost by the body is always directly proportional to its mass and is directly proportional to its change in temperature. Okay, so that is how this Q means amount of heat. Q means amount of heat which is directly proportional to mass and its change in temperature. Okay, so if I remove this proportionality constant, then Q is equal to C m delta T. Okay, where C is called specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity. So also I can write this as C is equal to Q divided by m into delta T. Okay, Q divided by Q divided by m into delta T is nothing but what? That is specific heat capacity. If the mass of a body is 1 gram and the temperature is 1 degree Celsius, then this equation 1 becomes C is equal to m is 1, delta T means 1 degree Celsius. Then it is equal to the amount of heat. Okay, so this defines that here. How the specific heat capacity is defined here? The specific heat capacity of a body is defined as that the amount of heat gained by a body gained by a substance of mass 1 gram and whose temperature is 1 degree Celsius is defined as the specific heat capacity. The amount of heat gained, or we can say the amount of heat or a temperature raised by 1 degree Celsius of a mass, how much? 1 degree Celsius, so 1 gram is called as this specific heat capacity. Okay, so here the unit of in CGS, the unit of specific heat capacity is, as here it is Q means amount of heat, so that is calorie per, here m is mass, that is calorie per gram, that is per Kelvin is the unit of specific heat capacity in CGS system. In CGS system, the unit of specific heat capacity is calorie per gram per Kelvin. And in SI system, its unit is joule per kg per degree Celsius. Okay, the unit of heat is a form of energy. What is the unit of energy? Joule. So same here also for this Q also we are having joule. Mass means kg in SI system. Per kg. Temperature means we are measuring in SI system means that is degree Celsius. Joule per kg per Kelvin is the unit of specific heat capacity in SI system. Okay, and its dimensional formula: 0 in mass, 2 in length, minus 2 in temperature, minus 1 in Kelvin is the dimensional formula of specific heat capacity. Okay, so this is all about the specific heat capacity and the anomalous behavior of water and the ideal gas equation. Okay, so if the mass is 1 gram and if the temperature is 1 degree Celsius, here in this case the specific heat capacity and the amount of heat are going to become equal here. Only when m is equal to 1 gram and when the temperature is 1 degree Celsius. So that is what we are defining this specific heat capacity as. It is defined as the amount of heat which is required to raise the temperature of any given substance whose mass is 1 gram and we are raising the temperature at 1 degree Celsius. That is defined as reciprocate capacity. Now in today's class, we will stop here, till here, and in the next class, we will continue with the next topic. Thank you.